Okay, just saw me pick my nose. I don't know what to tell you about it. You saw me do it. What can I say? Right? What level are we 30? Ah, dang it. I always get this stupid dungeon. I hate low level dungeons. Oh, these are the worst. Well, it's a good time to talk about um freaking the worst thing I think about. Like I don't really understand this Final Fantasy. Someone can help me understand it. I don't get the excuse me, the level sync. Okay, so like if I was able to control it and do it myself, the level sync doesn't make sense to me. Like, shouldn't the level sync be something like we keep all of our abilities from level 80, but we just have it at a lower caliber or a lower potency? Because like the reason the level sync doesn't make sense to me is because like the whole point, like, you want to get to the max level, you get to max level, you can do all the things, right? But then your character doesn't feel fully evolved when you go back to these low level dungeons, and they're like, oh yeah, well that's because when you were level 37 you didn't have these abilities. Yeah, I get it. You're not level 37. It's like that's the part that doesn't make sense to me. Like, for the people who are level 37, yes, they should come in here with their abilities that they are at the time. But then we shouldn't be level synced down. Attacking the wrong thing. We shouldn't be a level synced down afterwards. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. I think it's something that Final Fantasy should kind of change in its regard. Like, we should just have all of our abilities. I don't know if it would go faster because the potency would be down, but we would have more buttons to click. Like, this is grueling. Like, the level experience when you're not the leveling experience. Sorry, the level roulette. The leveling roulette is like grueling when you get these literally 50 and under dungeons. They're the worst. Like, the longest dungeon in this game is like Satasha, which is like a level 15 or 16 dungeon, or 17. I'm not sure which one it is. And it's because you have nothing. You have no abilities. You have nothing. You have nothing. Nothing at all. You have no abilities. You have like 4 abilities. Like, the tank has like 1 rotation and it's not even complete. And then you come back at level 80 with this insanely strong build, or what is it? What are they called? Abilities. And you can't use any of them. And I don't understand the reasoning for it. I don't get it. Like, if someone out there knows why they did that, and they're like, oh, we have whatever it's called, here's a letter from Yoshi P that says the reason he did this was X amount, then yeah, I would love to see that. Honestly, I really would. But at this point, oh my god, it's just a chore to do the leveling. Like I'm doing it because I want to level my bard, so I'll like deal with it. This is probably one of my last characters I'm leveling up. After this, I think I have the setup that I want. I would have the setup that I want, which is a Scholar, Dark Knight, which is like the best tank, I think. Best tank for me. Warrior is a pretty good tank, but best tank for me. And DPS would be Dancer and Bard. I switched to Bard because sometimes, I don't know, I've heard about this. I'm just preparing for it, but they said late game, sometimes they take Bard instead of Dancer, very rarely. And I don't know what the composition of my FC will be. So we'll see. Excuse me, but aside from that, it's just one of the worst things. I don't understand. Like, and I've seen like WoW does it a little bit better. Where in WoW, what it is you, what is it that you do in WoW? I forgot what it's called. Time walking or something like that. Where you go to a dungeon that was from like the level 60s or 70s or 80s or 90s. They have a lot of levels. Or 100s, or one of the past expansions. You go in there at a lower item level. You go at a very lower item level. The item level that was back when the expansion was at its peak. You go back to the item level, but you keep your abilities. You do not lose your abilities, because it would make the gameplay slow. And like, I get it. They're trying to time walking is just trying to make you remember the dungeon. It wasn't this fun. You remember this, and you have your little fun. You have your little nostalgia, and you go forward. Final Fantasy wants you to like relive the moment you were level 37 or whatever, anything under 50 that literally sucks. They want you to relive that, and it's like, yo, we didn't even want to do it with that low. Like, we only did it for XP. Like, though I have another video, probably it's going to be sought out before this one, where I'm talking about why I love Final Fantasy, like why I came back, why I ended up loving the game again. And in that video, I did a dungeon in like 10 minutes, a level 60 dungeon I did in 10 minutes. And we didn't get him. And this dungeon, I'm not sure what time we're in this dungeon. We're at 5 minutes, and we haven't even fought the first boss. Just because it's level 37. And we have lower abilities, we have lower DPS, and it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. I'm going to move over here. If anybody watching this, you know you can skip those guys by just coming here. You don't have to fight them. They will leave you alone if you run through here. I guess this guy doesn't know. It's fine. Let's go do this real quick. There we go. So I don't particularly like this level down sinking thing. It really doesn't make sense to me. But it's just one of the very few things I end up not liking. And then runs like this where people are doing it, I guess, for XP. I guess I'm stuck here. I guess is what the leveling is. But there's like other ways to level, which are way better than just grinding dungeons. I would say the main thing would be questing. Like, I have all my side quests from every level, so I think the side quests are at level 5, level 3, and depending on what starting setting you have, and I have all of those still there because I never did side quests. I guess this guy wants to do this. Ugh, this is annoying. And this is another thing. I'll put it into this video as well. I'll probably call this video "Level Syncing is Stupid" and coming from a different type of knowledge. All right, so I played WoW since 2007. I think I played WoW. Well, I think I started in the Burning Crusade. I'm not entirely sure. Did I? Like, I know I played Classic, but I'm not sure if TBC was out during the time. But I played WoW for a long time. And that mindset of WoW, which people would call toxicity, I know I have. Because like I can't stand certain things, and I have to change myself while playing Final Fantasy 14. Because Final Fantasy 14, if anything, is the definition of an MMO, where the RPG aspect is strong. It very much is. It's a really good game. But what's better is the community in this game. So in WoW, literally, there's a lot of anger, and I think it's because they expect you to know. I don't want to say WoW is a elitist type of game, but they would expect you to know, and you're expected to know your class inside and out once you get to like the harder dungeons. And if you're gonna ask for raids and be like, hey, I'm putting a pug together, don't put a pug together in WoW. This is like the stigma. If you don't know your class rotation, and if you don't know how to gear, and if you don't know the fights and stuff like that. But Final Fantasy 14 I found to be very, very forgiving, and they're very helpful. So if somebody doesn't know something, it's better to just be like, hey, do you need some help? And that's something I had to change when I first came to this game, was that idea. And I found that I ended up bringing back what WoW had brought to me. And what I ended up learning was... where's the gemstone? There you go. What I ended up learning was... what I ended up learning... I know I'm saying this like 18 times. Was like you just have to take some people are playing this game that are not hardcore. There's some people who are playing this game that are children. There's some people that are playing this game that are getting off of long days of work. They didn't have a chance to look at the rotation to min-max their character. Some people play the game that are not like me, or like other gamers who are obsessed with making the correct build with the correct stats and everything and just being perfect. And some people just don't memorize dungeons. Like, I haven't done this dungeon since I leveled on my PS4, and I still remember it. And some people aren't like that, and that's fine. And I think that's something that I had to learn. So that's something I had to learn moving forward, honestly. And I think it's something that people kind of have to take into account. Like when I was leveling, there was a guy who was doing his rotation wrong against a black mage, and the black mage rotation is actually very complicated when he gets into higher levels. But it was at a point where it wasn't. And I was just like, hey. At first, I was angry. Like I showed my colors at first, and I was like, come on, bro, like blah blah blah. But then I was like, give me a second. I took a deep breath, and I was like, hey, do you need any help? Do you know how to like play your class? And he was like, no, I just mess around, but I would like to learn. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, we can teach you. And we stopped in dungeon for a second. We explained to him, hey, you should start, like, you should go from Blizzard 3 to Fire 3. This was a 50, I think this was a 50 dungeon. And so we were like telling him this, like how to use Flare through AoE and stuff like that. And he was very thankful, and we made it better. Versus yelling at him and be like, "Hey, get better, scrub," and stuff like that. And I'm not saying every WoW player is like that. I'm just saying that's kind of like what you're expected to hear in WoW, because I've been through it as well in WoW. When I was learning to tank on Blood Knight, and I was just trying to learn, and they were like, "Hey, don't queue up if you don't know. Like, go watch videos and stuff like that." Which is weird, because if you're playing a game, you wouldn't want to leave the game to learn how to play the game. You would want to try to learn while you're playing the game, which is the essence of the game. And that's why, like, I'm also going to make a video, because like I know I am comparing both games, about a game. I saw a video, one of the Final Fantasy 14 creators who made a video talking about why X game is or why Final Fantasy 14 is better than this game, whatever game it was. And I don't think that's like a healthy thing to do, to say one game is better than the other, because you have to think of the whole genre. This is like a little small piece of what I would be talking about in the video, but I know you're not supposed to do that, because the genre needs saving, not the game. Like, WoW doesn't need saving, Final Fantasy 14 doesn't need saving, Elder Scrolls Online doesn't need saving. These games don't need saving. The genre needs saving, but the MMO genre is what's in trouble, because there's only a few powerhouses. And just like there's a bunch of first-person shooters, there's a bunch of RPG, there's a bunch of whatever game you want to call it, or a type of game, there's a bunch of those games that exist in the ecosystem. It means the genre is healthy, and that's a good thing. But to keep the genre dying is the part that's is the part that's in trouble. Having the genre in trouble is not good. But like I was saying, like so I can get this guy thing. I'm doing so. No, come back. There, let's go. But I think it's just like another aspect of it, just trying to take a breath and just allow people to play. We're going on 12 minutes, so this dungeon's a little bit longer than the level 60 dungeon, which should have been harder. Like, this is what I'm talking about. When I go back to my first point, like, this game shouldn't have a level down sync system. It should just have a eye level down, not an entire level down. It's just so dumb. But anyways, the game is good. But like I was saying, I think there's a certain point of your playthrough when you play these type of games that you have to kind of think of the other player and maybe what he's going through with the genre. And I used to be that way when I was playing, like I said. But I think this game kind of teaches a lot about community, because that's what this game is great at, is community. I would like to finish this video with the ending of the dungeon, but I don't think so, because I don't have anything else to talk about for the next 15 minutes or 5 minutes, however long it's going to take. But that's just my gripe with this leveling system and how this community is. The gripe is with the leveling system. Community, I'm very happy about, and how some of us might need to change the way we look at this game and how we treat other people within it. Alright guys, it's me, it's Hasiobard. I'm signing off. Thank you guys for listening, and more videos are up to come. I'm going to do the Anima series video for the Bard weapon, because I already have it for, I think, my Dark Knight. Yeah, Cronus Lux. And then I was doing it for my Dragoon, but he's far off. My Bard has just started it, so I think I'll go with him for the Anima system. And it would be the same. The steps would be the same for each class. So I'll go ahead and sign off here, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll leave all my links in the description. Have a good one.